Hello, everybody. This is Thor Young. I'm a moderator with Bear Bull Traders, and I'd like to do a recap for you today on my American Airlines trade. The travel sector in general has been pretty hot this week with the quarantine starting to lift and travel starting to look to resume. You have certain stocks that are really starting to rebound that have been consolidating and waiting for a long time for this to happen. And you're having a lot of daily breakouts. So one thing I really want to talk about today, and it's the main topic of today's conversation, if you will, is I would like to talk about volume. A lot of the times I get messages, emails, conversations from traders going, how do you know what stocks to get into and when to get into them? And I come back to them and say, it's not quite as complicated as you would think. A lot of the times they think it's some big trick that we're using, but the reality is there's a method that's as old as the market itself for finding stocks that are in play, and it's a method that's provided on basically every platform, and it's generically free or one of the cheapest data feeds you can get, and that's volume. So as a stock, no matter what happens with that stock is being transacted, if the transaction count is happening in a high fashion, you're going to get volume. So it doesn't matter if the stock is being used by, if we're being transactions by hedge funds, market makers, pensions, the biggest people to the smallest people, everywhere in between, you're always going to have volume. So AAL for me, I have a high volume scanner that looks for mid-price stocks with high floats at a high volume, right? So when I ran that, the first stock that popped up here for me was American Airlines. Now, American Airlines was here for me, and this morning was already trading well over 4 million shares prior to the open. But if you look right now, it's at 153.5 million shares traded today. So this stock has traded a very large amount. I mean, it's just absolutely astronomical amount of volume, right? So obviously in play. Breaking out from key daily levels, a lot going on. So now the question is, how do we get in? Let me go out to my 1 minute chart here so you can get an idea. So what I did here on AAL is I started off by watching to see what it was going to do around 1255. AAL had a gap up. And on that gap up, that was a pretty good consolidation line. So I wanted to see what was going to go if it holds support. So at the open, AAL never touched 1250 the entire time. So it made me feel pretty good, especially when it started holding VWAP. So for my entry, as you can see here, what I did is as it rejected from pre-market high and came back and held VWAP on a nice wick, bounced off, showing some good buying pressure off of those levels, I went long there and I gave it a stop loss of about 1287, somewhere in there. The stop loss was the loss of the 100 SMA, and then I generically give it 2 or 3 cents just for slippage, just to really be sure I'm able to stay in well. So as you can see here, it came back and it certainly tested that quite well. But it held and closed again on a doji, throwing some indecision and still showing the buying pressure coming off of this area down here. So once it returned to the 100 SMA one more time, I added into my position because it looked good, and then we were off to the races. And I must say, I'm very, very happy with AAL overall. We got a nice pop up. I took some quick partials, and then we actually started to consolidate here with an ascending triangle. I added in for the next leg up, and what I did not realize is the next leg up I was going to get, if you look at my 5 minute chart, was crazy. So I ended up getting in. Average cost was somewhere around $13. I ended up getting a move all the way to $15.31. So on a $13 stock, better part of a $2.50 move. Just not much sure what more you could want. We did a pullback here. I did a little free roll. I'm using my new free roll hotkey, which worked amazingly. Popped up here. Thanks. Shout out to Kyle. Got a partial there. Tried one more add, but then inevitably stopped out. Buying pressure still looked good, and we bounced off of this 200 SMA on the 5 minute here, held up on that. Or wait, sorry, let me zoom out. That's not the 200. That's the 20. Sorry, 20 EMA on the 5 minute. Bounced off of that, made a new high. So, and you can see that happen right here. Bounced. Where are we going here? Yeah, that's the ad. Stopped, bounced, closed in a hammer. So I went ahead and went long here. Got a couple partials before a stop out. And still looked like it was holding up for another move up. So I took a long here, Just a really weak, not too much distance here. But you can see we're holding this area pretty good, and I'm hoping for a move back up to 15 for my next partial. So 3 total trades on AAL today, well over daily goal. So things are going really, really well. But the point being is I want to readdress that concept of volume. When you're looking to take trades, when you're looking to add trades, get into trades, make sure the trade has volume. Make sure things are going well. Right now, I'm into this trade, and look how little profit I'm getting as I sit here and hold. Why? Because we're on resting volume, right? So this is a trade. Although I'm in because I'm anticipating this breakup, this is not a money maker, right? If we go up and get the break, it could be, but why tie up my capital here? I really could just wait. And then if it has a high volume break to the top side, I can go long then. And then I can make in a few minutes what's going to take me the better part of an hour to make if I get the breakup at all. So keep an eye on that volume, use it a lot, and you will find a lot more consistency in your trades. So I hope that is a little helpful for everyone, and I hope, as always, you have a great day and keep it green. Thanks.